be starting in several days, and there will be a special Ayurvedic cleanse. And tonight she will be starting a program titled The Path to Liberation, Discovering Vedantic Truths. So we'd like to introduce Acharya Shunya, who is a Vedic lineage holder from the holy city of Ayodhya in India, a scriptural scholar, teacher of the Vedic, Yogic and Ayurvedic wisdom, and author of 3 best-selling books. Acharya Shunya teaches on-site and online through her Wisdom Campus headquarters in Northern California, and offers Vedic spiritual study, Ayurveda, and programs in divine feminine empowerment to vast community of spirituality and wellness seekers worldwide. And tonight, Acharya Shunya will begin this program that will be for the next several days in the evening satsangs and midday workshops on teachings of Adi Shankaracharya from the important scripture known as the Bhaja Govindam. So let us give a very big hand to Acharya Shunya.
Shraddheya Swamiji. Om Namah Shivaya. It's a joy to be back here. This is my 7th year coming back to the ashram. And we've heard of the 7th year itch, right, in relationships. But for we spiritual people, the 7th year is the 7th chakra, the 7 lifetimes, the Saptashati, the 7 circumambulations around the fire to seal the pact. So for us, 7th is a very auspicious year and an auspicious number. Always thinking auspiciously about relationships and always thinking auspiciously about life in general. We come to a time in life when we need a hammer to dislodge some delusions for things to remain auspicious. And Bhaja Govindam is an ancient stotram, an ancient hymn of 31 verses from the 8th century. Almost 1300 years ago, as relevant then as today, because the human condition has not changed. It is also known as Moha Mudgara. Moha means to be deluded, to be confused, to be mixed up in our life purpose. And Mudgara means a hammer. Have you been confused in life? Have you ever felt that those confusions are holding you tightly in some kind of bondage? perhaps then we need is a divine hammer of wisdom to dislodge those delusions. 1300 years ago, a great teacher, Adi Shankaracharya, gave the first 12 verses, which inspired the body of his students who were walking with him through the streets of Varanasi to give the other 19. And such was the relationship between the teacher and the students that we who are the students of all these main Acharya and then the Acharyas who followed consider these verses as nectar. Though they fall like hammer upon us, they really dislodge what is no longer serving us and then reveal something more potent, beautiful, and nectar-like to aspire for and to achieve and to recognize within ourselves. Moving forward, without an acknowledgement of my teacher would not be possible. Aneka janma samprapta karma bandha vidahine atma jnana pradhanena tasmai shri guruve namaha. Our guru is not just one who gives us the flash of a darshan on a podium. Our guru is one who gives us Atma Jnana, Jnana, the knowledge which is not ordinary knowledge of the finite world, but knowledge of the infinite self that is omnipotent, omnipresent, and also the self within us. That Atma Jnana is the essence of Bhaja Govindam, and I bow to my guru, Acharya Ayodhya, and to his teacher, Acharya Shanti Prakash, who were my grandfather and great-grandfather in this lifetime. And all of us bow in my parampara to this ultimate teacher, Adi Shankara. Narayana Samarambham, Vyasa Shankara Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. In my family parampara, we start our teaching and learning sessions with this chant, where Vishnu, Narayana, is the ultimate teacher for us, and then onwards through Vyasacharya, Shankaracharya, to my immediate teachers, Baba Ayodhya Acharya, Shanti Prakashacharya, then to myself, and I am a teacher to many in different countries worldwide today. But we trace our knowledge back to a very towering fountainhead of knowledge, which is Adi Shankaracharya. And he gave to this world the Moha Mudgara or the Bhaja Govindam, along with hundreds and hundreds of other scriptures and stotrams. Perhaps an infinite source of knowledge for us. What is this Bhaja Govindam about? It is said that once he was walking with his students in the streets of Varanasi in the early morning, and at the Manikarnika Ghat of the river Ganges, where the bodies are burnt, a very sacred bank, he encountered an 87-year-old Brahmin who was memorizing Sanskrit grammar rules, the dhatu part. There's a very special aspect of the Sanskrit grammar that can only be memorized. First, it has to be memorized, then it is applied. It gives us perfect knowledge of the language. And upon seeing this spiritual person in a spiritual attire memorize the Sanskrit grammar, Shankaracharya was moved to call this person a Mudaha. And a Mudaha means, in simple translation, "O fool." but it doesn't necessarily mean a fool. It means someone making an inappropriate choice. Why would Sanskrit grammar and learning that very sincerely be an inappropriate choice? We will come to look at that. But interestingly, we come to know through a conversation between Shankaracharya and this Brahmin who was sincerely trying to memorize the Sanskrit grammar rules. We come to know of some deeper truths, and we come to know of what is appropriate when. And there might be some buses that we have missed in our lifetime, such as learning Sanskrit grammar at the right time, for example. And perhaps we let that bus go, but there is one bus that we cannot miss, and that is devotion to God. And Shankaracharya says to him, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate, Samprapte San Nihite Kale, Samprapte San Nihite Kale, Nahi Nahi Rakshati Dukrina Karane. So Shankaracharya says to him that and lay aside all this effort to master the language of spirituality, and instead seek directly from your heart, mind, intellect, being, that ultimate reality, because Sanskrit right now, this language, or the books that they may open up for you, all of that at this ripe old age may not be the best choice to study, because time is limited, and what you need to do is now surrender your complete being, your consciousness to that ultimate reality. Because these grammar rules will not come in handy at the time of death. Nahi nahi rakshati. No, they won't protect you at the time of dukrina karane, at the time of death. There will come a moment, and now Sanskrit grammar rules are simply, we can substitute that for all the spiritual activity that keeps us busy and deluded in the belief that we are practicing spirituality. So I let that settle in. We have the false beliefs at time, and we convince ourselves that this is really important. Whereas precious time is passing for us. And that is why we are asked to turn towards Govinda, Bhaja Govindam. And Bhaja, which is the root word for bhakti, literally means to engage, to connect, to be devoted to in a loving way. To who? To what? To Govinda. Then the question is, what is Govinda? Who is Govinda? And the easy answer, especially if you just do a quick search, then Govinda is another name for Krishna, for Lord Vishnu. And so it is easy to summarize that Bhaj Govindam is promoting the bhakti of Krishna. Okay, we can accept that. But in this session, I would like to investigate who is Govinda. Gah Vedanti, Gaha Vindati iti Govinda. The one who knows you intimately, the one who is omniscient, that is Govinda. What is that supreme reality? What is that which we know as Ishvara, that omniscient, all-knowing reality of the past, present, and future? That is Govinda. Ishvara is another term for God in Sanskrit, and Ishate sarvabhutanam iti Ishvaraha. That intelligence, that all-comprehensive power that dwells in every particle of existence is Ishvara. So, Gaha Vindati iti Govinda. So Govinda, when Bhaja Govindam, when Shankaracharya is saying Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudmate, then it is saying, oh come, drop these activities that are apparently keeping you in the spiritual realm and try to know that ultimate self, that ultimate truth. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya Samartaha Ishvara, that which causes the creation, the sustenance, and the dissolution of entire universes, know that power. That power is Govinda. So it is immediately through knowledge we can understand, through satsang we can understand that yes, we are being asked to approach that ultimate self, and time is limited. And if you are here to get a yoga teacher training, if you are here for the detox, if you are here for a vacation, you chose this place, the beautiful Shivananda ashram in the Bahamas, to be here for a reason, and that deeper reason is your yearning for union yoga with that Ishvara. In fact, we have a Govindashtakam by Shankaracharya himself, and look at these terms where Govinda has been described. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Nityam Anakasham Paramakasham Maya Kalpita Nanakaram Anakaram Bhuvanakaram Kshamaya Natham Pranamat Govindam Paramanandam. What are these terms? That Govinda is the ultimate truth, that self is the ultimate knowledge, Jnanam. It is not finite like the rest of this universe. It is infinite, Anantam. It is not transient. Everything has a temporary existence in this Jagat, in this universe. It is Nitya, it is eternal. And it is ultimately Anakasham. It is boundless. It is beyond Akasha and the five elements. It is beyond them. It transcends them. And it is Paramakasha. It is the supreme expanse of the mystical reality. It is Maya Kalpita Nanakaram, and yet, due to its power of illusion, it can take on any form and every form. So where is it not? And yet, it is formless, ultimately Anakaram. It encompasses Bhuvanakaram, the entire universe. And it is the refuge of all of us who are in this universe. And it is the protector of the unprotected. And we say that it is Govinda, the shepherd of cows, the cow shepherd. and it is the supreme bliss. So immediately, I want you to see what you are being asked. And I wonder if just these words and these terms are evoking memory within you of a great yearning, of a greater truth. May I see hands if it does? Yeah. Other meanings in Govinda, go here means the creator, the sustainer, the protector, the karta dharta, and the dharana karta of earth. Such a person is Govinda. Go also represents to the senses, and the master of all the senses is Govinda, the Atma. Go also refers to the cows, literally the cows of Vrindavan, and the protector of the cows and the guardian of nature in general is also Govinda. And Go also refers to divine speech. And so the conferrer of divine speech is Govinda. And of course, Govinda is the name of Krishna, Vishnu, Narayana. So with all these alternatives, when we are being asked to chant the name of Govinda, move towards Govinda, meditate on Govinda, bring bhakti into our lifestyle, into our yogic sadhana, into our dinacharya, then we are really being told to know that ultimate reality known as Ishvara, Brahman, Vishnu, Narayana, Krishna, as our own self, because we are told that this lives within our own self. Now, let's take a moment to understand what this means. Because ultimately, if Krishna is that ultimate reality, then that ultimate reality has assured us that seekers come to me worshipping my different forms. But whatever form they worship, they engage with, I steady their faith in that specific form. So what are we really being asked as yogis and yoginis by Shankaracharya here is, what he's asking us is to wake up from our delusional belief systems and activities and relationships, including a kind of a delusion that the words of spirituality lead us to spirit. The books of spirituality lead us to spirit. Perhaps this is a very advanced conversation. This is not blasphemy. This is not, because Shankaracharya has given the maximum amount of words for all of us to meditate upon, contemplate upon, and grow from. But perhaps what he's pointing to is that comfort zone or that self-created multi-step journey that we wound ourselves in and make it so complex when very simple things, which I will cover in the third session, what are the suggestions of Shankaracharya, can lead us into the heart of Govinda, can establish Govinda in our heart, and we become established in Govinda's heart. The cosmic power, the ultimate truth, is not so far from us. And we have to be aware of our time that we live in, how many years we have ahead of us and behind us, what are our circumstances, and not get caught up in that with a perfect solution. I will do A and then B, then this is going to take me to C and then D, and then when I reach Z, I'll be there. Moksha, aham brahmasmi. No. It has to happen now, and it has to happen simply, and we are going to look at what keeps us from that. This is why it was not Sanskrit grammar itself that is the problem. If this gentleman, if this Brahmin this sincere student of Sanskrit grammar was of younger age or in their 20s or even in their 30s, perhaps this great stotram would not have arisen. But it is how we become befuddled, how we feel that, how we miss the purpose of our journey, our spiritual journey, and we get caught up in the tools. Sanskrit language is a tool. And if there are certain tools that we are not able to master because we were born abroad, or we are of a certain age when spirituality called to us, or our household or circumstances kept us occupied, but when we do become fully alert and available for cultivating that great presence and a union with that great presence, then we need a straight journey. And that is why Bhaja Govindam is an amalgamation of bhakti, bhakti yoga, bhakti ras, and jnana yoga or knowledge. It is definitely something that brings together both these paths, and it also dispels the doubt that Shankaracharya was only a teacher of very stringent jnana yoga. He was very much a bhakta, and his devotion comes through in this hymn for us. We are going to look at why it is important that we cultivate a relationship with Govinda, Bhaja Govindam, why? And why should we prepare for that last moment? That Brahman was 87-year-old. We may be young. We may have a lot of life ahead of us. Why should we be in any sense of urgency? And this explains the urgency. This verse, which talks about the antakal, that moment when the body is to be dropped. That moment, antakale chamaveva, smaran muktva kalevaram. So this is a very important verse which says that when it is time to relinquish the body, if one relinquishes the body, remembering me, remembering Govinda, remembering that I am one with that ultimate reality, remembering that I have no existence separate from that ultimate reality, remembering that while I've had this known self, the body, mind, intellect, as I drop this known self, this familiar self, this finite self, this perishable self, the imperishable self that remains, the infinite truth that remains, the eternal light that shall remain is none other but an essence of Govinda. This knowledge, if one were to cultivate through their life, with their heart, with their minds, with simple learning and simple teachings that does not require intellectual analysis paralysis, that does not require debate and intellectual prowess, that simply requires a quiet understanding. If that were to happen at the moment of death, then Krishna promises, then that soul shall come to me. There is no doubt about it. There is no doubt about it. So that means that we would like to be prepared at the time of death. Simple. I'm a yogi, and I can do other things in the meantime, and do some part-time yoga. And then when comes death for the 5 hours or so, I'm going to only think about Krishna, Vasudeva. I will chant the mantras that I know. But that doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen that way. Why doesn't it happen? Because Death is a very disturbing experience for the body, mind, and intellect, and our thoughts are not in our control. And at that time, only the thoughts you have been thinking of consciously, mindfully, for a significant portion of your life or for significant years before that ultimate moment, they will determine what thoughts enter your awareness at that time. None other. There is the story of this King Bharat who was deeply spiritual. He was deeply spiritual. He even took vanvas. He even went and lived in a forest, and he was meditating all the time. And he was really, in the mode of bhakti and jnanam all the time, offering bhakti, devotional love and devotional worship to that divine being, which was also the self, deep within, the Atma within. Except that once he saw a pregnant deer cross the river, and she couldn't cross the river. And she gave birth to a baby foal just right there in the middle of the river. And then she crossed over. She just couldn't manage. She couldn't rescue her baby. And so it was left for Bharat to rescue her. And he rescued her. And he brought her to his hermitage. And he took care of her. He knew that ahimsa is an important value, and daya is an important value, kindness and karuna, compassion, is an important dharma value. And he knew that this was the right thing to do, definitely. And he got pretty engrossed in looking after the care of that young baby deer. And as it grew, he was trying to find the freshest grass for it and trying to make it comfortable in winter, putting a blanket over it, discarding his own fur for that animal, thinking that after all I'm offering seva to another being, what could be better? So he had his spiritual explanations of what he did, and they were definitely worthwhile, except that at the moment of death, he did not think of Govinda. He thought about that baby deer. And he wondered if the baby was going to be okay. And as a result, whatever we think of, yad bhavam tad bhavati, whatever we think of, so it happens, so we become, he was born a deer in the next life. But because of his previous tapasya, his yogic sadhana, the universe is not so unkind, this deer had some faint memory of spirituality and the spiritual pursuit. So he would wander around hermitages. Perhaps he went to the Shivananda ashram in Kerala and all of those places. And he hung around there. He hung around sages and satsangs and kirtan and Ishwaravani and Bhagavad Gita chanting. And he was there all the time. So that when it was time for him to discard his body, he could be born again, this time known as Jada Bharat, a great saint and a great sage who became self-realized while living. As a result of this story, we can possibly, even if it is a fantastical story, what we must draw a conclusion, and even if we look at modern neural understanding of the brain today, whatever we think of at night, whatever are our last thoughts, right, before that daily death, which is the deep sleep, right? The deep sleep is like a daily death where the body and limbs are asleep, the senses are asleep, and finally the mind is also asleep, okay? And this is a deep sleep. It's like death, and the new morning is a new birth. Whatever are our lost thoughts, they deeply impact our subconscious, and they deeply impact our belief systems. We can have all kinds of heroic aphorisms and thoughts, but our last thoughts, if they are negative or positive, if they are clingy and attached or clear and invincible, that makes a difference. And if our last thoughts are around the Bhagavad Gita or yogic understanding, then that really transforms us and changes us. So that micro moments and our thoughts at that time do make a huge difference. And probably Shankaracharya wanted to point out this was true love. This was the love of a teacher, a true guru, that he pointed out to this sincere old man bent over his grammar book to say, stop. Don't worry about all this. Just open your heart to Govinda. Love Govinda. Worship Govinda. And know that Govinda is none other but your higher self, your truth. These simple truths can transform your life. That is what was being explained. And that is why, for a true yogi to have a yogic transition from the body, it takes commitment. It takes commitment. And because we do not know when death will come to us, none of us can say that for sure. It can happen in the next moment for any one of us. Preparation has to happen now. So this itself is a hammer upon us, is it not? That we may not have that much time as we thought we have. I was just being informed about a terrorist attack in India, and people had gone for a holiday in Kashmir when they were brutally gunned down. And I was reading about a woman who was just married 7-8 days ago, and she had gone for her honeymoon, only to lose her partner, who was in the armed forces in India. So she was saluting him, saying, I'm proud of you, but she was broken down at the same time. So we don't know when what happens, because such is the plane of existence of samsara and maya that we are in. When this dream will end, we don't know. But we better start dreaming our way out of it in a strategic designer manner. Are you ready? Are you wanting to be ready? Yes? Are you wanting to be ready? That is the point. Are you ready? Probably not. Are you wanting to be ready? Definitely. If you are a yogi and you want to continue to evolve through your various lifetimes and not devolve, and continue to have every night to end with thoughts of Govinda, and every morning begin with these greatest thoughts of Supreme Consciousness, your whole life gets onto a different trajectory altogether. So now, 9:30 is when we close. Okay. So I will just chant this one more verse from, I've selected different bouquets of verses over the 3 sessions, but so we go from first verse to the 4th verse right away. And in this verse, Shankaracharya is pointing out to the exact point that we were discussing about how vulnerable is our life. Nalani dalagata jalamati taralam tadvajjivitam matishaya chala chapalam vidhi vyadhya bhimanagrasatam lokam shokahatam cha samastam Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam Bhaja Mudamate. So the lifespan of a person has been compared to water droplets on a lotus leaf. Have you ever seen it? It just moves around here and there. But at any moment, the leaf may move due to wind, or the sun would evaporate the water droplet. So it has a very temporary life. It glistens and it's very proud of itself. And look at me, my shiny body, and I'm this big round wallop of water. I'm not a tiny wallop, watch you. You know, I'm big and round and shiny, and the leaf that I'm on is so amazing, but that at any moment, that's it. And so it is like that, and the world All of us are like those tiny droplets, and on top of that, our world is completely subjugated worldwide. There is no one who can say, I'm immune to it, to disease. Some or the other disease of the physical body is taking over. And then there is abhimana, this ego, this pretense, this falsehood, this inauthenticity. That's another kind of disease. So disease of the body and disease of the mind, where all these droplets of water are probably, all of us are not as pure as we think we are, because we are consumed with diseases. And lokam shoka hatam chasam. Shoka. Shoka means grief. There is suffering. You see the rich person in the very big house up on the top of the hill, they are also suffering. You see the person in the one-room studio, they are also suffering. Everyone is suffering. And this is the state of our being. So this verse, for example, makes us want to wake up to the reality that perhaps we do not want to only pursue what is known and familiar. And what is known and familiar, which takes us towards the world, name, fame, relationships, career, this is known as prayas, pleasurable things. But have you noticed, anyone, that whatever gives you pleasure, after a while there is a sad discharge to it? Anyone? Yeah. And typically, pleasure doesn't last. But there is another path awaiting us, which is the path to find what is not familiar, what is unknown, but there is a deep inner calling to some of us. And that is the path of the infinite, of the truth, of the right, which is the path of Shreyas. And these are deep concepts, for example, mentioned in the Gita, mentioned in the Kathopanishad, but they show up again here in the Bhaja Govindam to say, what life are you boasting about? And how do you think that death is far away? And if this is the condition that souls, whatever they are thinking, get caught up in a similar story after that, then do you really want to begin again? You don't want to do that. And I'm only taking one more minute. Dinya minyo sayam prataha shishira vasanto punarayataha kalaha kridati gacchata vayu tadapi namunchati asha vayuhu. Daylight and darkness, dusk and dawn, winter and spring come again and again. This is a programming. Don't get caught up. Nothing is too good, nothing is too bad. Time is passing, death is approaching. How do you like Acharya Shunya's poetry making? It's happening with every night, every morning, every afternoon, every dawn, every dusk, every spring, every fall. Just the curtains are changing and the theater is changing, the set is changing, and you are getting closer and closer to that moment, which will decide your next life. And do you want freedom? Or do you want bondage of samsara again? Start again. And do you want to do the teacher training course again? And Swamiji's years and years of sadhana, years and years and years of sadhana. For you, for me, people like us, we want ultimate truth. We want ultimate union. And these teachings for this night, the next night, and the following night are going to be rather on the deep end. the hammer's just beginning to warm up. There are some pretty heavy blows coming up, so my excuses in advance. Those of you who show up in the afternoon sessions are courageous souls. But the beauty of it is that this is actually written for this audience, for this group of people. And that is why for a lot of people in India, they simply sing it. They do not know the meaning. It is best for them that way. But those of us who understand the meaning, we have to become aware of the passage of time and the stuggeredness of our situation, and then do something about it, which is also coming up. Thank you so much.
So I'd like to thank very much Acharya Shunya ji for this beautiful teaching tonight on the Bhaja Govindam. Let's give her another very big hand. And we look forward for the continuation of this beautiful program. Tomorrow there'll be a workshop at noon, and then in the evening satsang. So now we go over the schedule, the rest of the schedule for tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have the morning satsang here at 6 a.m. Then at 8 o'clock, so tomorrow morning we'll have the morning satsang with Swami Brahmananda ji on the subject of worship of God and everything. Then at 8 o'clock we'll have the yoga classes. We'll have the intermediate class on the beach platform and the beginners on the Bay West platform. 9:50 the brunch. 11 o'clock, the ashram welcome and history tour, living from reception. 12 o'clock, we continue the program on the path to liberation with Acharya Shunya ji. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll have one yoga class, an all levels class on the beach platform. 5:50 the dinner. 7 o'clock, the chanting of the Bhagavad Gita, followed by a short study in the main temple. And at 8 o'clock, we'll continue the teachings on the Bhaja Govindam with Acharya Shunya ji as part of the evening satsang. And just a few announcements. So one thing, to be able to do the TTC, you don't have to wait for next life. This is actually available in a few days' time. On May 4th, we are starting our May TTC, and for the next several months until the end of the season, the ashram is offering a very special discount of 20% to be able to join to these TTCs, and it's really to make it a little bit more affordable for those, for everybody to be able to join and to really enjoy this great gift of yoga, of a 1 month of immersion and initiation into the yogic teachings and the yogic study, a truly once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to deepen the yogic knowledge and yogic practices. So the next one is starting on May 4th. Also, we like to take the opportunity to bid farewell to two of our beloved staff, Raj and Raj Prem, who are leaving the ashram tomorrow. And they are not here now. Okay. Hopefully they haven't left yet. No, they are leaving tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll also bid farewell to them. But they've been a great support to the ashram for quite some years and for this season. And tomorrow they are traveling back to Canada, and we'd like to appreciate their great support and wish them safe travels. And we look forward to welcome them back at the ashram by God's grace very soon. Tonight also we have a request from one of our guests, Melinda. Is Melinda here? Melinda is here. And today is Melinda's birthday. So, so I'd like to wish Melinda a very happy birthday. So it was a surprise for you, Melinda. Okay. So we wish Melinda a very happy birthday, and we dedicate the final prayers for her long life, good health, peace, prosperity, and spiritual liberation in this very birth. It's on page 97.
Om Trimbakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivadanam Murvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Om Trimbakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivadanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivadanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityo Mukshiyamamritat. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashyantu Kapag Bhavet Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityur Mamritam Gamaya Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. O adorable Lord of mercy and love, salutations and prostrations unto Thee. Thou art omnipresent, omnipotent and omniscient. Thou art Satchit Ananda. Thou art existence, knowledge and bliss, absolute. Thou art the indweller of all beings. Grant us an understanding heart, equal vision, balanced mind, faith, devotion, and wisdom. Grant us inner spiritual strength to resist temptation, to control the mind. Free us from egoism, lust, anger, greed, hatred, and jealousy, and fill our hearts with divine virtues. Let us behold Thee in all these names and forms. Let us serve Thee in all these names and forms. Let us ever remember Thee. Let us ever sing Thy glories. Let Thy name be ever on our lips, and let us abide in Thee forever and ever. Om Bolo Sadguru Shivananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Bolo Shri Guru Vishnavananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Please stand up for the arati. You can follow along on page 118. Om Jai Jarati Vinna Vinayaka Vinna Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jai Jarati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jai Jarati Venugopala Venugopala Venulola Papa Vidura Navanita Chora Jai Jarati Venkataraman Venkataramana Sangataharana Sitarama Radheshyama Jai Jarati Gauri Manohar Gauri Manohara Bhavani Shankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jai Jarati Rajarajeshwari Rajarajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jai Jarati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jai Jarati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimurti Avatara Jai Jarati Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jai Jarati Shanishwaraya Ishwaraya Bhaskaraya Jai Jarati Shankaracharya Shankaracharya Advaita Gurave Jai Jarati Sadgurunatha Sadgurunatha Shivananda Jai Jarati Vishnudevananda Vishnudevananda, Vishnudevananda, Jai Jarati, Agastya Mune, Agastya Mune, Shri Rama Priyaye, Jai Jarati, Ayyappa Swami, Ayyappa Swami, Dharma Shastave, Jai Jarati, Jesus Gurave, Moses Gurave, Buddha Gurave, Jai Jarati, Muhammad Gurave, Guru Nana Gurave, Samasarevyo Namaha, Jai Jarati, Venugopala, Om Natatra Suryo Bhati Nachanda Tarakam, Nema Vidyota Bantikatoya Magni Tam Eva Bantamanabati, Sarvam Tasya Bhasa Sarvindam Vibhati, Om Gange Chayamune Chaiva Gudavari Saraswati, Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Namastebhyam Namo Namaha Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Bandhus Saka Tvameva Vidya Dravinan Tvameva Sarva Mama Deva Devam Kayena Vacha Manasendriyarava Buddhiyat Manava Prakriti Swabhavan Karom Yadiyat Sakalam Parasmai Narayanayiti Samarpayami Sarvadharmam Prityaja Mamekam Sharanam Raja Amtva Sarva Papibhyo Mokshaishami Masucha.